Hi, my name is Cheryl Shoham, and I've worked for more than a decade in medical education at Tel Aviv University. In my role as Associate Director of the New York American Program in Sackler School of Medicine, I have had a lot of experience with designing curriculum for medical students. One of the major questions that I've asked myself over the last several years is what is happening in our classrooms, as we find that our classrooms are emptier and emptier. And in fact, the empty classroom has led me, as it has many other educators, to ask the question, is the lecture dead? We certainly have had to redefine what curricular goals we are after in a medical curriculum. And I'm sure that educators everywhere have asked themselves some of the same questions. In our case, we have looked at our curricular goals and have decided to change several of them. In particular, we have decided to reduce the number of frontal lectures. We have added many online exercises that allow us to direct our students both to the pace and the content we would like them to follow in their self-study. In addition, we have increased the number of activities in small groups, activities in which students come to class and work on more interactive, problem-based sessions. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, for our international medical graduates, we have addressed our students' concern about curricular content following National Board of Medical Examining and other licensing guidelines. In order to accomplish our goal of considering how to flip the classroom, we've had to define our terms. The flipped classroom can refer to many models in which lecture and sometimes homework components are taken out of the traditional classroom. Many curriculums use online, pre-recorded lectures instead of the traditional in-class activities. The responsibility is clearly on the shoulders of the learner in the flipped classroom model. In addition, the role of faculty changes. The faculty member becomes a guide on the side and not the proverbial sage on the stage. His or her role is to guide the students in their group interactions and to design the other elements in the course, be they online or in class. Last but certainly not least, the small group model encourages students to work in teams and to learn from one another, with strong students teaching weaker ones, and weaker ones asking sometimes provocative questions that allow the stronger students to consolidate their own learning. In addition, the teamwork models the type of work environment that medical students and many other professionals will face in their working world. So our flipped classroom relied on several very important components. Perhaps one of the most important components is the technology that we used. Our university uses Moodle as the computer platform that serves all of our students in all of our faculties. What you see here is a web page from one of the courses. It's very detailed, but it's meant just to show how students at the click of their fingers have all course materials available, be they online lectures, PowerPoint slides, required reading and assignments, and online exercises. The flipped classroom that we use uses a model called case-based learning. These are the exercises I mentioned previously in which students work in small groups on clinically contexted cases. Let's hear what our now third-year student has to say about them. Shachar Shimonovich.
So the mandatory CBL exercises gave us the opportunity to interact with a physician in a way that wasn't just hierarchical in the sense of him in front on the board in front of a PowerPoint slide and us just passively listening. Gave us the opportunity to ask him questions, to ask him if he's seen a patient like this before, how he's treated the patient like this before, whether this is realistic or unrealistic. got us thinking about a patient and not just a disease. And at least for me, it seemed pretty obvious that whenever I think about a patient or I have a face or a story to give a disease, it helps me remember it for later for exams, for boards.
And what do our students have to say about those so meticulously recorded online lectures? Tamir Diamond.
You define the bad online lecture?
Okay, a bad online lecture is you lose interest within 2 minutes.
And a good one?
A good one will be short, to the point, and structured very well in order for you to feel engaged even though you are not really in class.
So how did our students really feel about those online lectures? Well, they again voted with their feet. Really, not many more students actually accessed the online lectures, listened to them, than actually came to class in previous years. We have to face the fact that students in this generation may not view passive learning in listening mode as very helpful to their learning. So what then is the role of the university, of academia, of faculty in the classroom setting today? These are all questions that we asked ourselves. We asked our students what they thought of this model. Let's hear what Mark Clyde has to say.
So Mark, we've got a whole bank here of online lectures. We've got a lot of case-based learning exercises. Should we just junk them?
No. The best thing about the concept of flipping the classroom is it brings everybody in the generation that's extremely digital in. In that regard, people who wouldn't be connected can now find a way to connect. And these are students who really like the digital world.
Mitch Rovner.
I think that the freedom of the flipped classroom is a great thing because it gives students an opportunity to study as they need to. However, I believe structure is actually quite important in medical school, and a balance should be struck where there's less freedom and more structure.
Structure, freedom, lecture, no lecture. All of these are questions that one must ask when redesigning curriculum in the new flipped classroom. Let's hear what other students think about the pros and cons.
Beth, tell us a bit about the cons of the flipped classroom from your experience.
I felt like it was missing some one-on-one interactions with the teacher, and that we could also have benefited from having more online or in-class lectures for explanations of subjects that we were not clear about.
Thank you.
And the pros.
Beth, could you tell us a bit about your experience with the flipped classroom? What did you like about it?
I really liked the fact that I could make my own schedule and be more flexible with my time. I also like the fact that I could learn and study on my own pace, which was very important, and also focus on USMLE specific information and high yield.
Excellent, thank you. Beth?
So many questions have been raised by our attempt to flip our classroom and create an improved learning environment for our medical students. We would be happy to discuss our experience with you and help you in any way possible with your own attempts at improving education. Thank you.